you need to be authentic. Authenticity is very, very important. Today we're 2026, and people, I call it, they have a fake radar or bullshit radar, so when you tell the truth and when not, and they can smell the fear and the uncertainty.
Impulses and Perspectives, the DIKT Expert Talk hosted by Nikolai Behr.
Welcome to another episode of Impulses and Perspectives, the DIKT Expert Talk. Today we are looking at leadership challenge that it's intensifying across Europe and globally. So our motto today is, how do you lead change and keep trust when uncertainty is high, resistance is emotional, and AI is reshaping persuasion at scale? My guest is Dr. Yaniv Zaid, known internationally as Dr. Persuasion, a persuasion and negotiation expert, best-selling author, and advisor to leaders and organizations across industries. Yaniv, great to have you here.
Hi, Nikolai. It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So we're talking here about difficult times, about change, and about persuasion. So why do change initiatives fail even when the strategy is strong?
Because people, great question, because people usually tend to be in their comfort zone, and they don't like changes because changes sometimes demand them to pay something, to fire people or to hire people or to spend money or invest money or to do something they don't like to do. So people always looking for success, but they don't usually see the lab hours and don't want to pay the price. So if you ask people to change something, usually they look at the risk and not at the reward. And I'm also an economist, and in economy, the basic assumption is that people hate risk more than they love joy. So if, for example, I will write two books, one is how not to lose all of your money, and the second book is how to win another $1 million income, then people will run and buy the first book because they're more seeking of not losing their money than how to earn more money. So if you try to change something, usually there is a gold after, there is a gold or there is a reward at the end, but now we need to pay a price, and sometimes people tend to stay in the comfort zone.
I think especially the Germans are very much for the first book.
Yeah.
So when you work with your customers, what creates a real buy-in without selling the change?
A great question. So first of all, you need to walk your talk and you be very, very authentic and all in. Because if you try to sell an idea or products or services, or if you try to talk to people to do changes, you need to be the change. You need to be the best version of yourself. You need to be a role model. You need to give an example, and people should know that you are all in, and you're not just talking about change, but you're not willing to pay any price. I can tell you an example. I work with startups and high tech companies, and sometimes there is the part of raising capital. So if there is a startup that try to raise capital and they go to the investor, but the entrepreneur is still working a day job, is not willing to quit until he raises money. So what they actually say at the subconscious level to the investor is, I look for you to give me, for example, $500,000 right now, but I'm not willing to pay any price, any risk. So if you give me the $500,000, I will quit my job, and then I will be all in my own idea and my own startup. So obviously, this not helping them to get money. So if you try people to think that that they need to do something for you, you need to be the change. You need to be the role model. So this is one thing. Another thing is what is called social proof, objective evidence, that you need to show people that they don't need to believe it because you say so, but they need to believe it because there are actually data behind the idea. So you need to show them statistics and case studies and what happened in other markets or other countries or other companies, or some data you analyze already, or some articles or something like that. And if they see the numbers, then they tend to believe it more. So you need to walk the talk and to be all in and to use social proof and to use data when you try to tell people we'll do this and this, we'll maybe suffer at first, but at the end, we'll have a great gain.
So I think it's important what you say and how you say it. So what are the most toxic sentences as a leader you can say during a transformation?
So first of all, if you say to the employees something like, well, the board told me to tell you, or the board advised me to do this and this with my staff or something like that, then what you actually said to them or what they heard is, I don't believe in it. And the only reason I do it is because I have to. So you should do it because you have to as well. So we are in 2026, we're not in the army. The corporate is not an army, and even in the army, you need to persuade people. I also work with armies, so it's not good enough. So if you try to sell something to your employees, you need to sound like as if you are a true believer and it came from you. Even if it didn't, okay, you need to sound as if it came from you and you believe it. Because if you don't strongly believe it, then people won't do it for you. This is one thing, and another thing that you need to be very calm and very confident when you say things. Because if you say something like, well, I believe that if you do this and this, the change will happen, or our results will improve, or something like that. Then you don't sound confident in yourself, so people will, they smell the fear, and they won't do anything. But if you say, this is the right way to do, okay, this is the time to do it. Now the market is ready for us, or something like that. Then you are a leader. Then you say it like a leader. You say it like a great manager, and then people will follow you because the default of people is to listen to other people if they perceive them as experts.
Is that kind of your 60-second structure for a change message?
Yeah, well, it's part of it because whatever you say in 60 seconds, you need to do it in a confident way, in a calm way. And when you use some structure to sell an idea, you need to start with selling the problem before the solution, okay? And then social proof, and then action items, what to do, call to action. And why you need to sell the problem before the solution? Because the change you need to do is a solution. It's not a problem. There is a problem now. This is why we need a change. There is a problem and the change is a solution. Where there is a pain and the change is a cure. There is a need and the pain is and the change is the answer. Okay, so because if everything is great, then we don't need to change anything, right? If the company profit enough, or if we already are technologically enough, or if my diary is full enough, I don't need to do anything in order to change things. So you need to sell to your employees and your managers and your colleagues. If you would like to initiate change in a company, you need to sell to them what is wrong now, what is not good enough now, that if we change things, it will be much better. Okay, so we need to set the problem before the solution, and then talk about the solution, and then talk about social proof, why this solution worked in other places, other company, or why you think or you are certain that it will work here now, and then call to action what you actually need them to do. This is the perfect, let's call it, structured 60 seconds speech.
But there might be the situation, Yaniv, that you don't know all the answers. So how do you communicate when you don't have all the answers without losing trust?
You need to be authentic. Authenticity is very, very important. Today we're 2026, and people, I call it, they have a fake radar or bullshit radar. So when you tell the truth and when not, and they can smell the fear and the uncertainty. So if everything is not certain and you try to make it as if everything is perfect or everything is certain and you are like a god, you know everything, you are not like Neo in Matrix or something like that you know everything, then people won't believe it, okay? And maybe they will, just say yes now, but they will gossip about it later and they won't be persuaded. So I always tell my clients, you need to be Batman and not Superman. Now, if you are a leader and a manager, now what is the difference between Batman and Superman? They are both superheroes, right? And they both look like human beings. But Superman is not actually a human being. He came from another planet. So if Superman will come to his employees and will say, I will teach you how to fly. And he will tell them exactly what to do. And he will tell them, go to the highest tower, go to the roof, check the wind, check your first step. And he will tell him exactly what to do. And they will do exactly what he says. They are still going to fall because he's Superman and they are not. He has capabilities that they don't have, no matter how they try. But Batman can go to his employees and say, I will teach you how to fly because, you and I are alike. And I actually had a shittier life because the Joker murdered my parents when I was young and I fell into a cave and I was afraid of bats and I was afraid of darkness. But then I taught myself how to fly. So let me teach you what I learned in the hard way. And this guy, they will follow. This is a leader. So don't try to be Superman, perfect, everything is perfect. There is now in social media the Facebook illusion, that everything is perfect on social media and everyone is perfect and all companies are profitable and all businesses are doing great and all managers are great. No, and all families are great. people are not looking for perfect. People are looking for authenticity. So be authentic as a leader, tell the truth, tell the upside and the downside of each decision, but be confident at what you do to change things, and people will follow you.
So when talking with your teams, what's the difference between reassurance and false certainty?
Again, it's an authenticity, because if you make something sounds perfect and it's not, or everything is certainty, but there is an uncertainty word, then people won't buy it, and it's very easy to check things today. Even with AI, with data all over the data is everywhere and it's free, so people can check your decisions in a very easy way. But if you tell them, well, this is my decision, okay, and this is the upside, this is the downside, and I believe the upside are much more than the downside, so maybe we'll suffer a little bit and we'll stay out, and we'll leave our comfort zone, but at the end our results will be better. Then people will believe it and will follow you. Then you can take people, you can lead them to success, to a better place, because people today, they don't think everything is perfect and everything is certain. So don't try to be on the one hand, don't hesitate and don't sit on the fence and don't do anything. On the other hand, don't try to make it like it easy and you are perfect and all of the decisions are 100% correct.
So usually when you have problems with change communication in a company, the pushback is usually emotional, not rational. What's your best response strategy to cope with this?
Well, the best way is to combine the two, to combine emotions and logic, because all of us, we are influenced by both logic and emotions. When people think that either you're influenced by logic or numbers or something, or just emotions, but we are influenced by both. So if you build an argument or you build a presentation, then use both logic and emotions. How do you do it? If you'd like to use emotions, then you need to use stories, and like stories about yourself, stories about your life, stories about other clients, case studies that happened before, stories about failures, stories about success, all kind of stories and examples, and people can relate to the examples and stories. And if you would like to address logic, you need to bring me, data and statistics and facts, and let's call it objective evidence, okay? And then I can relate to it. So if you try to build a presentation for a change, then do both. Use examples and use the facts.
So now we have a new player making change even more difficult, and that's AI. So how is AI changing persuasion? What's getting easier and what's getting even more dangerous?
Well, it's a great question. Well, it was certainly in the middle of a revolution, AI revolution. AI brings us a lot of information, lots of data, even too much data. Okay, so the good thing is we have lots of free data everywhere, and we can analyze things better, and we can have more data to work with. The bad thing is that there is no more mediocrity. So if you are mediocre at what you do, and you do a lousy job or mediocre job, then AI can replace you even today. If you do some tax report, general tax report, or just some agreement as a lawyer in a very basic way, just take it online and give it to the client, then the client can do it without you today. But if you're an expert at what you do, if you bring a unique perspective at what you do, if you have let's call it the secret human ingredient, because you're still a human with people and you provide great service, then people will still need you today. And the AI revolution creates lots of opportunities, but also lots of problems. One of the problems is the loneliness epidemic, which is something that there are lots of articles and studies today, because actually it turned out that the AI makes us be more lonely. Okay, it started with Facebook and other social media, that we are more and more lonelier, even though we can connect with more people worldwide, but we are lonelier. So if you take the entire population, the entire people, so you can divide it to two groups. One group is more technological, it's more hiding behind the computer, less communicative, less talking to people. They order online shopping. They don't go to outside to buy the supermarket. They only use the screens all the time, and they almost don't talk by phone or meet in person or something like that. And the other side of the population, maybe even most of the population, they still looking for connections, for communities, for the human aspect, and they will they will come to those who provide them this kind of feeling that they are not alone.
Will there be a revival of human interaction due to the challenges of AI? What do you think?
Yeah, I believe so. Not for everyone, because there are people that embrace this technology again, and they more and more at home or the office and do everything automatically and talk less to people. But there are other people that are trying more and more to be connected more to other people, or to be connected more to nature, or to be connected more to low tech jobs or something like that. To feel what you do, not just everything is automatic. And again, the skill you need to improve most is communication skill, especially in the AI era, because this is something that people, they have a relative advantage over the AI, because AI brings us the data. But if you know how to analyze the data better, and if you know how to adapt your messages to the other side, and if you know how to provide great service, and if you know how to communicate better with the other party, then people will choose you over the AI. And then AI can't replace you. Even AI will be your best friend in AI.
So now content is cheap and endless. And what will be the new currency? Will it be trust or judgment or proof?
The new currency will be community. I believe that people will like to be together. So if you have a business, you have a company, you need to bring to allow your community all the time to have great raving fans, people that will follow you. You will provide content. You need to write a great content or to produce great content. If you either you sell products or services, but at the end of the day, people come because of the stories, because of your unique perspective, because of your let's call it human factor. Okay, and this is what differentiates you from AI. Again, you can't compete with AI about knowledge. Okay, they will always know more, but you can compete with AI about being human and adapt the message to the other side. So people will still pick people over the machine most of the times. And also we can see now, because there was a prophecies 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when AI started, about the fact that 2-3 years from now there will be no jobs, and half of the population will lose their job, and other things. And we see today that it's not happening. So maybe
Hmm.
some of it happens very, very slowly, but still most people, they still believe that the change will come slowly, and we still need the human aspect and not automatically surrender to a machine.
Yeah, it will shift within all industries and over industries, and we will see new developments on the job market, but others will also, go
Yeah,
out of time. So
yeah.
when we look into a company, what are the biggest risks leaders face right now? Is it deepfakes, fake authority, manipulation like CEO fraud? Um, and is your advice for a practical defense?
So I think it's a fake data that if you're addicted to AI and you use just AI, and AI can't tell you no, because AI is not programmed to tell you no. Because if you go to Gemini of Google and you ask something and they will tell you I don't know, you will go to OpenAI and you use ChatGPT, the competitor. So AI will always give you answers if it's wrong one. So there were lawyers who came to courts with fake verdicts that didn't happen, because AI combined
Mhm.
several verdicts and they gave it to a lawyer, and there were programmers who developed something that is not working, and there are many examples. So you need to use AI, but as an expert who knows what they are doing. You need to be the best version of yourself. And again, you can't be mediocre anymore, because if you are mediocre, the AI can replace you. And if you're the best at what you do and you have your unique perspective, then you will be above the noise, above the technological noise. So the biggest risk is mediocrity, even in the eyes of the clients. And if the clients feel that you don't have added value over AI, they will choose AI. But if they feel that you have, the human factor, and if the risk of the mistake is very, very high, they will choose you. For example, if I just spend a few dollars about some stock exchange, then I can or some stock, then I can ask AI, and they will tell me worst case scenario, I lost $10 or $100. But if I'm buying a house now, I will always rather go to a human realtor who knows my neighborhood than spend all of my savings in a decision that AI brought me. Because if I make a mistake, then I lost all my savings. So people will always pick people if the let's call it the the payment, the risk, okay, the risk of the mistake is very, very high.
So if you advise companies, what would be your one rule every executive should adopt now to protect the credibility in this AI-shaped times? What would it be?
Yeah. So first of all, you need to be optimistic and be positive, because don't think that the AI replaces you and everything is fake and everything is wrong and the machines will take over everything or something like that. Be optimistic and tell optimistic messages to your employees. And second of all, you need to be very, very good at what you do. You need to excel in what you do, no matter if you sell product or services, and if you're a junior or senior manager. And then number three, you need to use social proofs and you need to know how to tell a story. I think the communication skills, maybe the most important now in AI era, is the art of storytelling. You need to tell a story, and you need to know how to build a presentation. To need how to tell your sales pitch. Your elevator pitch. To know how to talk about yourself with social proof, and you know how to persuade others. You know how to adapt the message to the target audience. And if you know all this, then you have a relative advantage over AI.
So communication is a very important part in the whole change process. So what are your 3 to-dos for leaders communicating change in 2026?
Communication. First of all, be authentic, like we mentioned. There is in high-tech companies, there is a line of lectures or speaking gigs. It's called fuck up nights. What is fuck up nights? Is entrepreneurs telling other entrepreneurs about their failures. Now, usually there is a trick, because usually it's on my first company, I lost $100 million of investor. My second company, I got divorced and bankrupt, and my third company is PayPal or something like that. So usually it's a failure, success story. You won't usually hear something like, my first company, I lost $100 million of investor. My second company, I got bankrupt. And now I am unemployed, I'm homeless, living with my parents or something like that. Usually it's a failure, success. But people enjoy hearing stories about success and about failures because it's authentic. So first of all, be authentic and don't try to be Superman, but Batman. And the second thing, we talked about positive thinking and optimism. And always, if we're talking about uncertainty and risky times, and many companies are in lousy situation, always tell people that there is hope and lead them the way to get better results. And number three is excel in your job and use data and use the combination of stories and examples and emotions and facts and social proofs and case studies. And then people will follow you more and your communication will get better.
Finish the sentence, please. In difficult times, leadership communication is
the most important skill. even in a era, it's the most important skill.
So, Yaniv, I take away, be optimistic, be very good in what you're doing, and be carefully when you know your advantages or when you use your advantages. And communication is key in change.
Yeah.
So if our audience wants to see or hear a little bit more about you and your work, where can they get you?
I provide many content, many videos, many articles. If you enjoy this 25 minutes, you will enjoy much of my content. So please write me email and I will answer any question you may have. And I will be happy to be in touch. So if you loved what you heard so far, then follow me everywhere, all of the social media platforms, and we can be in touch.
So, Yaniv, thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I hope we will see us very much soon. And for your audience, if you liked our little talk, please subscribe us, leave some comments, and switch on if you see next time a podcast from Impulses and Perspective. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nikolai. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
If you would like to watch all of our new episodes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.